Hey everybody, welcome back to UniX TCG, and we are coming at you with another One Piece video. Nobody's really requested post-national stuff, and a lot of people have that covered, and lo and behold, it is kind of a dead period for Dragon Ball. This is right after National, so it is what it is. That being said, we are here to talk about the next step in the prepping for the Treasure Cup series, and that would be a Kid deck. So yeah, we're gonna dive into that. I'm gonna show you guys the build I took into locals today. I went X-1 with it, faced all red Zoro, and I lost the last one. So a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. X-1 is not bad by any means. Now, that being said, I do want to point out right before we go to the top-down view, I am still running my giveaway. The giveaway is going to include one of each Super Pre-Release starter deck. It's Super Pre-Release Dawn, there's a Luffy Super Pre-Release leader, there's a package promo, the one that you're given just for going to the Super Pre-Release. There's actually a lot of stuff. There's 2 promotional packs. We have a lot to go off of. So yeah, you can go down in the description, go to that one, make sure you comment, like the video, and then just follow the instructions to get as many tickets as you can. Email me, so you're good for that one. The submissions close this Friday, so there's really only 4 more days to jump in on this event. Yeah, and past that, if you want to support this channel, you can always just go down there and click the subscribe button, and that way you'll be tuned into all this content, doing a bunch of One Piece. We're gonna continue doing Dragon Ball when it hypes back up. We're gonna get into Battle Spirits later, and you can also join the Discord. We'll talk about cool stuff. So without further ado, let's go to the top-down view and let's get into it. So here we are with Kid. Lots of people have been seeing this go around already. Like I said, I am going to try to make these a little more brief. Essentially, I don't want to really focus on the next set. Like, I'll start doing videos talking about spoilers, but I'm gonna try to focus a little bit on the here and now, because with Global we have a lot of tournaments coming up and it's all the rage really. Kid is basically just the most versatile, well, not versatile, the most deadly standalone leader. His ability is to tap 3, trash a green card in hand, untap him once per turn. Kid is the only leader in the game that essentially has an auto kill if your opponent is at 1 life with no blockers, because putting 7 Dawn on him and swinging for 12 is nigh uncounterable in this game, followed by a tap 3, trash 1, and swinging again. So this guy will chip away at you all game, and the moment you are at 1 life, it's almost lights out. Like, if you have a blocker, 1 blocker, they can tap it down generally and then swing over you unless the blocker's huge. So it's really rough. But because of this, you're allowed to build up a very kind of shelly deck, and you defend yourself and you control their board, and then you chip away at them until they are at that game range. So that's pretty much the strategy for Kid. So putting Kid to the side, I want to go through the deck list. This deck list is kind of cool. I think of it as like 2 halves of a brain, because you have 2 packages and they all stem from these first 2 cards. You have got Jewelry Bonnie, who is the backbone of the Supernova package. You play her for 1, you tap her for 1, you look at your top 5 for a Supernova card. That can be an event, or that can be a character. But the next part is the backbone of the second package, which is the Land of Wano package. That's Momonosuke. He does the exact same thing, except for Land of Wano. Protecting these and keeping these on the board are going to be crucial to winning as a green deck, because essentially, while these are break evens the turn they come down, if you use their effects, every single turn past the first effect use that you keep these on the board is a turn where you are plussing. They're some of the only true plus ones in the game. You play Bonnie, you go down 1 in hand. You activate Bonnie, you go back up unless you whiff. From that turn on, every time you activate Bonnie, you're paying 1 energy to draw an extra card you didn't have before, and that is crucial. So protecting her while not minusing too bad is all the rage. Next, you got Capone Gang Beje. He is actually just the 1 blocker, but he can be fetched with Bonnie. So having him in hand with Bonnie is great. Having him in hand with Momonosuke is good, but not as great. And then she can also search him. So this is peanut butter and jelly right here. This is honey or marshmallows, whatever you put with peanut butter that's not jelly, but it's still good. Next, you've got this. This is Killer. He is a 2-drop blocker, and on top of being a 2-drop blocker, when he has a Dawn under him and he blocks, he's going to be able to draw 1 card for you. Now, the thing, or if you have 3 more characters, draw 1 card. That's actually that. But the thing about him is that I think I'm going to go up on him in numbers because there are some late game things I'm going to talk about later where you just need another blocker, and this guy is it. He's easy to find. He doesn't cost a lot. Moving forward, we have got Scratch Minapoo. He is just basically a 2K. You never really end up playing him, but he is a 2K. Next, you've got one of the most important cards of the deck. You've got Neko Mamushi, and Neko Mamushi is going to be able to come down for 2 and just tap something with a cost of 3 or less. This is blockers. These are, you know, blockers. For the most part, it's blockers. But at the same time, he can put things like your opponent's Namis or anything they're holding back that can become valid swingers later. Later in the game, there are going to be points where you can even put 5 on Otama and then swing. And Otama's got, you know, well, put 4 on Otama and swing with a Dawn under Zoro, and Otama's swinging for 6K, and that's actually pushing. So, yeah, it's cool to be able to put things down and then swing them on command. Next, you have got 3 killers right here, the original one from the original starter decks. This guy is paramount in this format. He gets rid of opposing Bonnies. He gets rid of opposing Momonosuke's. He gets rid of opposing Okikus, which are coming out. He gets rid of opposing Robins, which are very strong in red against this deck. He gets rid of opposing Zoros. Massive value. This card is great, and I'm gonna figure out how to put him at 4 because you always kind of want to see him. And my ratios are gonna be a little wonky. You're gonna see that, but I have some fine tuning. This is my first time trying to take out Green for a test drive, and I really thought I was trying to play some of these ratios to the best of my ability, but we're going to talk about it a little later. Next, you got Raizo. Raizo is very good. When I first read him, I wanted to play him at 4, and you know, this still has possibilities, but the thing about Raizo is that you need to swing with him when you have another thing rested, meaning you need board presence, meaning against Kaido and sometimes even against red, it's going to be very hard to keep this. Even against the mirror, sometimes it's hard to resolve Raizo. So all in all, you definitely need to make sure he's a win more card. When you're already winning, he's going to help you win harder, but from behind, he's just a 1K counter. Next, you got Izo. Izo is another 2K. I like how they just lined up perfectly, but she's searchable with the Momonosuke package. And then on top of that, when she's played, if you do play her, she can tap something with 4 or less. Next, I know people are gonna automatically get mad at me, but I was trying to lessen the amount of non-1Ks or 2Ks I had, so I only played 3 Okiku. I actually did miss the 4th Okiku. I'm not gonna front. Okiku needs to survive, and the issue with her is that she's a high-profile target, just like Robin. So you play Okiku, and Okiku is getting tapped and blown up. Okiku is getting Otama and then Robin. Okiku is catching jet pistols. I've jet pistoled plenty of Okikus. So it's like, she is a high-profile target, and sometimes people will hold outs for her because they don't want her to be up in their grill. And so right now I had her at 3. I didn't miss her, but she is very, very powerful. So we may have to change up that ratio soon. The next one, I've got X Drake. Yeah, X Drake is just that dude. He comes down for 5. That's a little hefty, but he's a 1K counter, so it always bounces out, and he blows up to 4 or less. All in all, I'm probably gonna put him down to 1. I really didn't see him come up that much. He was just a counter. He did get played late game, but it's just like, almost anything he can blow up, Killer can blow up. And anything he can't blow up, you know, Killer wasn't doing anyway. So I feel like he's cheaper by 2. He blows up pretty much all the same targets. Next, you have 3 Law. Law is one of the better cards in the deck. He goes brazy. He's just able to do his thing, you know? He comes through, he blows up something, or he comes through, he bounces something to your hand, and you can play something. It can be the same card. So he's just kind of like a Swiss Army knife, you know what I mean? You can bring back a Bonnie or Momonosuke that's already been tapped and put him down on the field. Tap him again if you have the spare energy or spare Dawn. You can bring back a killer and play a killer again in order to get another kill off his effect. You can bring back something like X Drake and drop any of those. It's just great to recycle effects. If you already tap something or you want to tap something in, you can bring back a Neko Mamushi or an Izo. You can bring back an Izo to your hand, play a Neko Mamushi, and then just blow up or tap something and keep the 2K in hand. You traded literally 10K counter or 1K counter. Sorry, Dragon Ball numbers. So he's pretty Gucci. Next, you guys have probably heard about this guy or really hate him, but this is Eustass Kid. When he is tapped, you cannot swing at anything. When he's tapped with a Dawn under him, you can't swing at anything but him. This is actually really, really crucial, and we're going to get into something about that momentarily. But he is like the boss card of the deck. Once you know that your opponent has used a Gum Gum Jet Pistol or two, you can just play this, and if they don't see their third one, it's almost a wrap, and I will tell you that. We're going to talk about some magic numbers in a little bit when it comes to this deck. Now next, when it comes to the event cards, one guy at my locals was teching Demon Face, and I wasn't quite sure about how I felt about it, but I saw him getting up in people's cheeks with Demon Face. Like, he was just blowing up all sorts of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't a good thing, but every time I saw this card, like I could have gotten it off of a Bonnie, I put it right back. Like, I never needed it. It always felt like it could have just been another card. So this is the first card I'm taking out. I tried your tech, bro. It just wasn't for me. Now next, some people play 3, some people play 2. I love this card. This is one of the best cards in the deck for me, and that's Paradise Waterfall. This is one of the most overtuned cards, I think, in this deck, because you'll pay 1, you go up 2k, something goes up by 2k, and you untap something. This is my absolute favorite, and it gets in so much mileage, it's not even funny. Like, you'll have these boards where you play Bonnie first turn, and next turn you play Beige, and I don't know, Momonosuke something, and they swing. I mean, they might use a Nami to swing, to just chump your Bonnie, and you can just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna block with Capone, and I'm gonna Paradise Waterfall. And Paradise Waterfall is either gonna bring Capone back up. If they didn't Zoro on their energy because they were just trying to chump you, that's their loss. If they sequence correctly, they might have been 1 energy down, but it really depends on the turn. That early in the game, they might want to just full in on a Robin or something. So this really changes the math. Or you can block with Beige and then Paradise Waterfall and put Jewelry Bonnie up so they can't touch it. But also late game, when you're protecting your Eustass, this is something that a lot of people don't seem to understand. Eustass is not an end-all be-all. There's actually quite a few outs to Eustass, but there's also a lot of magical numbers, like magic numbers for Eustass. When you're playing against Red, because this is one of the most applicable parts, Red has 2 options, essentially 3 options. They can either all in on their leader or Zoro, or something on the board. Zoro, the 3-drop, and their leader are probably the most powerful things, because if they put all 10 Dawn on them, they can swing for 15k. That is a worst case scenario. A lot of people don't realize that, but that can break a turn, and it really depends on the strength of the green hand as well as the board setup to see if that breaks the game. Because if you don't have a good hand setup and they just 15 or 14 on this guy, that could be a wrap, because next turn you have to worry about their untapped board, and if they have like 3 life, you're not killing them. That's a magic number against, like, Kid. You have 2 life, and you know that they're not hasting anything in. They can only bring you down to 0 life. So that's pretty much a thing right there. But when it comes to Eustass, you normally want to cruise into him with a blocker, and the fatter the blocker, the better. When you have Law on board and then you play Eustass Kid, you tap him, you play maybe another blocker. I pointed a non-blocker, another blocker, and then you pass with 1 energy up because you put, or 1 Dawn up because you put a Dawn under him. Paradise Waterfall is one of the sickest cards you can possibly have. They swing on you, right? And you are able to chump block with Beige or your blocker. Or they swing and it's only 9k, and you can Paradise Waterfall on Kid, untap one of your 1-drops that you had on the field previously. Or something like Okiku that you don't want to get swung on. Or if you have this guy and they swing for 9k, you know, you can literally block with him, Paradise Waterfall to boost him up to 8k, drop a 1k, and use 2 cards from hand, but you just shut down their turn. Mainly because people are really only going to be able to hit you for that once per turn. Like, the moment they're done doing that, there's nothing they can do. And Red, like I said, they can full on monkey mode and put it all on Zoro. Or they can do something like tap 5 to play Luffy, so you can't block, and they can swing, or put all their Dawn under Luffy, and then swing with it. If they put 4 Dawn under Luffy, 1 Dawn under Zoro, and swing, they're only swinging for 11k. So Paradise Waterfall plus Paradise Waterfall, or Paradise Waterfall plus a 2k, done. All you need. And when you play Eustass Kid, that's just sometimes what you need to do. Have that 1 energy up for Paradise Waterfall, have a 2k in hand. But when you go into Eustass, what I like to envision it as is when you go into Eustass for your first turn, you are some of your most vulnerable throughout the entire game, unless you have the stone cold nut setup. But when you untap with Eustass, you were in one of the strongest positions of your game. Now that leads to the next card. This card was mixed for me. Sometimes it felt like godly, and sometimes it didn't. But this is Punk Gibson. Punk Gibson is something that you can very easily out-sequence as an opposing player. You can just play your cards one at a time, and if you're doing your job well as a green player, your opponent shouldn't be coming at you with a huge board most of the time. So it's very easy to out-sequence Punk Gibson. In the meantime, though, Punk Gibson does allow you to hit residual blockers, small swingers that they're about to swing with next turn, so that's pretty cool. But Punk Gibson also allows you, if you have the 2 energy up, which is another thing that really kind of makes me sad, because you can't use Punk Gibson the turn you play this. It has to be the turn after, and that's cool and all, but the turn you play this is the turn where you're most susceptible to any gang-ish that's about to happen to your board setup. So when it comes to this, Punk Gibson is cool. Like, I walled a dude hard because he swung for me at 11, I just Punk Gibson, and then he did it again next turn, I just Punk Gibson, but I had to get there at first. So honestly, this card going is probably going to be the first and foremost. We might find more replacements for these because these did not vibe well, and we might change out an X Drake for maybe another killer, because there was a time that this time where if I just found a blocker, I faced all my matches on Zoro, and on the last Zoro match, if I just found a single blocker off of Jewelry Bonnie, then I could have just played it with Eustass and I would have been safe for the turn. But I had to kind of go raw with Eustass, and he had really gone hard trying to kill Eustass the previous turn, and he didn't have the jet pistol, but he was able to lesser me, decided to work off the 6K, and I burned out my entire hand trying to protect the floodgate. So that is what it is. Once you have this established, you can play for a while. I beat 2 red Zoros at 0 life, my having 0 life, for like 3-4 turns straight, just because I was able to maintain being able to keep a blocker and then Eustass Kid and just pick his board around that and chip him down. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video if you like the content. We'll be back with more. I don't have locals tomorrow, but I have locals Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So just like red, I'm going to hit the world tour, and I'm going to go through all my locals and see how I fare with green. So this is the first video, maybe 2, maybe 3. I'll be tweaking it for sure before I go into Wednesday, and we will see how it is. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And like I said, go in the description, check out the Discord, check out the contest or the giveaway. There's only 4 more days to enter yourself. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.